Welcome back to the CEO's Wingwoman podcast. Today, I'm really excited to share a very special story with you, an episode that is very close to my heart, and that is my origin story. So what I'll be taking you through today in this episode is a rare glimpse into my childhood growing up in a global skincare brand, some of the crazy things that happened as a child, which seemed very normal at the time, but definitely are not normal now, and how those experiences have ultimately shaped me to be the human, the mother, the wife, the friend, the daughter, the businesswoman that I am today. So I hope you enjoy this little bit unique podcast episode that originally was actually intended for a reel series, but I really wanted to share this with you, my listeners, to give you a glimpse into what it was like as a child and to hopefully be able to transfer some lessons or some inspiration that will help you in your journey growing your business as well. So I hope you love the episode and I'm really looking forward to hearing your feedback.
Hi, my name is Jess and I'm the Resident Growth Specialist here at Olivia Jenkins Consulting. I have also known Olivia for close to a decade now and am excited to be able to ask her some questions today to share more about her unique journey and what has shaped her to become the CEO's wingwoman that she is today. We are going to jump into some interview format questions and hear what Olivia has to share. Let's get started. Do you feel that having a visionary CEO mother as a child has influenced your passion for supporting other working mums today?
I definitely think so. I was a huge support system as a child for mum, and I think because my parents separated when I was 5 and they went their separate ways, mum was growing her business and we spent the majority of our time with her, I became quite accustomed to going to meetings with her and going places with her that were centered around work, as I think all working mums can relate, especially if you have your own business. Sometimes you do have to bring your kids places or they have to be in the background when you're doing something. So they're always listening and they're always being exposed to the conversations that you're having and the things that they're seeing you model. And I think I was no different as a child, seeing all of those things modeled and being privy to all of those conversations and coming along to meetings and all of the things. And I think I really loved being in that position where I could help her in some small way, whether that be just being a companion at a meeting or whether that was just listening to how her day was, or if, as I got older and I had more life experience, providing some type of opinion or advice that in some way comforted her or made her see a different perspective. So I think that it gave me a real love and passion for being of service to a CEO, and I think that is a huge part of the business now and the brand that I have today is the CEO's Wingwoman. And I think that in its essence is really where it started, was not necessarily when I started the business and, clients coined that amazing tagline that I love so much and is now a registered trademark, but because in my heart of hearts, I know that for me actually came to life many, many years ago as a child.
Can you share any memorable experiences you have from your childhood as the daughter of an entrepreneurial mother?
Some of my most memorable experiences, I think, in the context of meetings with my mother was I had a unique ability to read energy. And so I would go to these meetings with mum and, she might have been meeting with a new accountant or a lawyer or someone who had taken an interest in her business. And I would know as soon as I met the person, I would get a feeling about them and I would get that gut instinct of they're really trustworthy or there's something not quite right. So I think it was definitely, there were a lot of memorable experiences in the context of meetings and meeting people for the first time. And I think it sort of became a bit of a running joke between myself and my mother at the time, because she would know that bringing me to the meetings was going to be a really good indicator as to whether she could trust the person or not, because she'd look to me for that feedback and getting a second opinion. And I'm talking from, 6 years old, 7 years old, so really quite young. And I still remember to this day being at a restaurant in North Adelaide somewhere, this fancy seafood restaurant, and she was meeting with a male that I think from memory had taken a shining in her business. And I could just tell that he had totally underestimated me, thinking, oh, cute little 6-year-old girl, like she's harmless, she's not going to know what I'm trying to do here. And I remember getting into the lift after the meeting and just saying, nah, like there's just something not quite right here. And mum really leaning into that as well, and sort of trusting the feedback of what her 6 or 7-year-old daughter at the time was saying. So it was just really interesting, because I felt like through a lot of these experiences I was quite underestimated because I was a child, but really there was a lot of emotional intelligence and a lot of gut instinct that was being strengthened in those moments, which is quite funny looking back at it now, especially because I have a 6.5-year-old now, and I think he is also capable of having that emotional intelligence even now as a 6.5-year-old, to be able to read someone's energy and work out what's really going on. Are you ready to achieve 10K consistent months inside your startup business? If so, our flagship program, Summer School, is the perfect experience for you. Summer School is purposely designed for startup business owners to learn everything they need to know about mindset, strategy, marketing, and sales. And the best part is there's no fancy tech and no expensive ads. So if you're keen to join the Summer School experience and scale your startup business to success, find more information in the description below.
What do you feel motivated you to do things like read business books and write business plans at such a young age?
I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is that gives me so much passion and excitement from reading business books and self-development and all of these things. But what I do know is nothing has changed. Literally in all of these years, I still love a business book, love a personal development book, love a self-help book, love a personality quiz, all of the things. And I think it's just, I look at my kids now, one of them is really into dinosaurs. The other one's really into technology. And I think as a kid, there's always a really good sign as to what you're going to do when you're older, based on what you are enjoying doing as a child. Because you think about it, what you do as a kid is unpaid. How you spend that time, you're not being forced to spend your time that way, you're not being paid to spend your time that way. So if you're doing those things for fun, I think that's a really good indicator around what you should be doing later on in life and being paid for it, because they always say, if you do something that you love, then it doesn't feel like work. And so I think there was a part of me that obviously had it modelled through my mother, definitely, but I also think there's a large part that I was just born with that inbuilt passion to love business, love mindset, love the concept of growth and always being better and doing better, and just owning that part of myself and that being okay. But I don't really know where it came from. I honestly just think it was something that I was destined to do and I was born with.
And finally, can you share more about being the general manager of a global skincare brand at the young age of 21? And what were some of the unique challenges you faced as a young leader?
Anyone who has a family business, is in a family business, has been in a family business, or has been exposed to one knows that it can be very challenging. It can be very rewarding, but it's also very challenging to work with family. And that definitely was my experience as well. I think anyone in that space would tell you the same. I definitely knew growing up as a child that I was destined to work in my mother's business. I mean, I'd had it modelled to me my whole childhood, and I was so excited to be able to finally be in a position where I was old enough to actually go in and do the things that I wanted to do, because there were so many times where I would go to the office after school and I would just help out doing whatever. You want paper shredded? Great, I'm your girl. You want a coffee? Great, I'm your girl. You want the dishes done? I've got you covered. So I just was prepared to do anything that was helpful, and I was always really curious. I wanted to know what everyone did in their jobs, wanted to, not eavesdrop, but sort of, listen to what was going on in the office and be exposed to lots of different things. And I still remember, I probably was about 11 or 12 at the time, and I remember saying to Mum, what can I study at uni that would be most helpful to you in the business? What do you want me to be? You know, is it an accountant? Is it a lawyer? Like what degree would be most helpful? And I still remember to this day, she said to me, lawyer. If you can go out and get your law degree, that would be the most helpful thing. And so it was like, great, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a lawyer. And it's funny now because one of my favourite movies is Legally Blonde. I love Legally Blonde. Elle Woods is my spirit animal. Just live for that movie. But I think even though she'd planted that seed about becoming a lawyer, so many people have said to me over the years, God, I could see you as a lawyer. My dad will say it all the time because he says that I always have an answer for everything and I'm always ready for an argument, bless him. But I think I always knew that I was destined to go into that business and to support her, and I was really excited by that. So it was only natural that when I was old enough to actually answer the phone, because there are lots of years where I desperately wanted to answer the phone, but I wasn't allowed to because that would have been weird to have a 7-year-old answer the work phone. So by the time I was old enough and I had the opportunity to go into the business, that was really exciting for me and was sort of the beginning of a new chapter of having new experiences and really leaning into the CEO's Wingwoman energy and getting started. So that was a really pivotal moment for me in my life. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I have absolutely loved sharing some of these more personal and unique stories that are quite close to my heart from my childhood. I hope you've been able to take some inspiration, some learning, some of my lessons to be able to help you in your own business journey or your own life journey. And as always, I absolutely love hearing from you. So if you have a moment, jump over to Instagram at oliviajenkins.co, pop into my DMs and say hello. I would love to hear from you. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.